Hi dancers, welcome to SKR Yoga and Wellness. My name is Sam. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. I'm going to be leading you through a yin practice to find a nice deep hip release. This is a yin flow. If you haven't done yin before, we hold poses for quite a while. In this particular class, we're going to hold for about 3 to 4 minutes in each and every pose. And every pose is really targeting our hips and our low back and a little bit into the hamstrings. So if this is an area where you're experiencing some tightness, this is definitely the class that you want to be doing. Make sure that you have, of course, your mat, but also if you want to have a blanket nearby or perhaps a block, if you want to have some comfy clothes, all of these things are definitely great to have with you for a yin class if at any time you need extra support or extra props. So be sure to have those nearby. We're actually going to get started lying down on our backs. So you can go ahead and lie down, get comfortable, adjust what you need. And then we're just coming to a reclined butterfly. So you can bring the soles of your feet together. And I like to rest my hands on my belly, but you can do whatever works for you. Just really allow your knees to open up. And we don't need to engage the core at all here. So we're being incredibly passive. Just let the spine curve naturally. Let the knees flop open. And I like to rest my hands on my belly so that I can feel the natural rise and fall of my breath. Just helps me to really focus in on my breathing. One of the challenging things about yin is that it is quite meditative because we're not moving for long periods of time. So our mind can get really distracted and we really find an urge to fidget sometimes and continue to move around, especially as dancers. Being still can be really challenging. So really try to find and live in that stillness and just allow yourself to just be in the pose. We're not worrying about anything else. No other worries or to-do lists or anxieties. All of that is just filed away for the next few minutes while we just live in our pose and breathe. Of course, if you find yourself getting distracted, just without judgment, bring yourself back to your breath. We'll be here for another couple of minutes, so continue to breathe deep into your belly, feeling that rise and fall. from here, perhaps use your hands to help bring your knees back into the center. Moving really slowly here, there's no need to rush. And just feel the soles of your feet flat on the floor once again. We're going to take the right foot, flexing it, crossing it over the top of your left thigh, and then you're just going to bring that knee in, grabbing a hold of what you can behind the thigh or in front of the shin, and just gently hugging that knee in closer to you. And although we are being quite passive, you will need a little bit of activation through your arms to pull your leg in, and also you want to keep your right foot flexed just to protect your knee. But other than these two places that are activated, you want to try and relax everything else. Your belly is relaxed, your hips are relaxed, your shoulders are relaxed, and just breathe. From here, just place your left foot back down onto the mat, but keep the figure 4 shape of your legs. And we're gonna allow your legs to fall towards the left, so the sole of your right foot will come in contact with the floor. Arms will reach out to the sides, and then you can just turn your head towards the right. So we're stretching a little bit into the glute here again, and also finding a light twist through the spine. You wanna keep your shoulder blades on the floor, so those stay anchored and the rest of your spine can twist. Taking another 2 minutes here. next inhale, bring the legs back to center. Again, moving nice and slowly, no need to rush. Uncross the legs. And we'll do that same thing on the other side. So lifting the left leg, flexing that foot, cross it over the right thigh, hugging it in, grabbing whatever you can to pull that leg closer to you. Keep the left foot flexed this time. Feel your shoulder blades still pressing into the mat. Keeping a slight activation through the arms. Everything else stays relaxed. And we continue to breathe for 2 minutes. Just like we did on the first side, we'll place the right foot back down onto the mat. And then from here, take this figure 4 position off center. The sole of your left foot will come in contact with the floor. Opening the arms out beside you, looking in the opposite direction towards the left. And as always, breathing deeply. We'll be here for another 2 minutes. And on your next inhale, we'll come back to center. Release the foot once again. And we're going to flip over onto your belly. And you can come up into an arch of your choice here. So if you'd like to reach up into a cobra or even seal position, if you want to extend your arms all the way out, up to you. We're not going to hold here for very long. This is just a little transition, stretching out the back. And then we'll roll back out, sending the arms in towards the shoulders, sending the weight back into the heels, finding a little child's pose just for a moment, only about 30 seconds or so, just to recenter ourselves. And rolling ourselves back up. We're going to come to all fours, and we will be on our left knee for a little bit of time. So I'm just going to fold my mat over so that I have a little bit of extra cushion. Feel free to do the same, or as I mentioned at the beginning of class, if you do have a blanket nearby, that could work as some extra cushioning. But from wherever you are on this all fours position, you're going to take your right foot, step it on the outside of your palms, and allow your hips to sink forward and down. Now from here, you're going to flex through the foot and open it up so that you're resting on the outside of your foot. I don't know if you can see from this camera angle in my mat, but my foot is right on the outside, almost like I'm sickling a little bit. And then you have a choice to stay up on your hands here or come down onto your elbows, or if you can come all the way down to the floor, that works as well. But remembering to relax everything here, to relax that hip, relax your neck, really allow gravity to do the work for you. And we'll be here for another few minutes of breathing nice and deep. And very, very slowly coming back up onto your hands. You're going to toe heel your foot over to the opposite end of the mat. And I'm actually just going to uncurl my mat once again. Coming to pigeon pose, or swan pose as it's called in Yin. So squaring off that back hip as much as you can. If you do have a block or a blanket nearby and you have a gap between your right hip and the floor, it might help to just place something underneath there to close that gap. Otherwise, you can bring both hips down onto the mat. First inhale and grow tall, and then we'll exhale to fold forwards. Just allow your body to curl into this stretch, this very intense, deep hip stretch. And as always, just breathing deep. We'll be here for another 3 minutes. Very, very slowly from this position, walk yourself back up and put weight into your hands to push yourself up, to lift that leg, to extend it back behind you. Just kind of resetting the blood flow back to normal after those 2 very intense hip stretches. And we'll come back to all fours, repeating that same thing on the other side. So I'm going to fold my mat on the opposite side once again. Taking the left leg, reaching out to the outside of your hands. Once again, flexing, opening up to find that wing, as this is winged dragon. And we'll come down onto the elbows if that's what you had done on the first side. And relaxing the neck, relaxing the upper body, relaxing the hip, and breathing. First, coming up onto your hands. Release the mat if that's what you had done. And then just toe heeling your foot to the opposite side of your mat to lower down into your swan pose. Take a moment to get comfortable. Use a prop again if you need. Inhale to lift and grow tall. Exhale to fold. Very, very slowly, just like we did on the first side. Walk yourself back up. Be very gentle as we push up to replace that leg. And just extend it out behind you once again, returning the blood flow back to normal. And let's just bring both knees back down to the mat. And just as a little transition before we continue, just make little circles with your hips forward and back. Just to kind of wake up the energy in those hips once more after those two very stagnant positions on both sides. It can be very, very intense. And let's just reverse the circle going the other way. Just nice, easy little movements here. Doing what feels good. We'll take this as our last circle. And we're going to come back onto our back just like we started. This time, hugging your knees into your chest. Making yourself a tight little ball. And then we'll flex into the feet, and you're going to grab the outside of your feet with your elbows on the inside of your legs. So coming to happy baby, nice and easy. And now usually when we do this position in a vinyasa class, I encourage you to rock back and forth. But for this yin practice, because we're trying to practice resisting the urge to fidget and move and be a little bit more meditative, we're just gonna freeze and hold this happy baby. And just like we did in the other reclined positions, you do need a little bit of arm activation here. You have to pull the legs in closer to you slightly, but it's just slight. It doesn't take a ton of effort. And you also want to try and keep your tailbone in contact with the mat so we don't end up rolling too far. So the entirety of your spine is flat against the mat, and you're just pushing to open up the hips. Breathing into your belly, feel it expand and contract against your thighs. And from here, slowly release the legs back down to the mat, and right away we're going to open them up, straighten them underneath you, coming into Shavasana. Allow the legs to flop open, palms are shining towards the sky. Breathing deep into your belly. Try to count 10 breaths for yourself here. We've been here now for just over a minute. I invite you to stay in Shavasana for as long as you would like. But this is where I will leave you. I'll just remind you to please like and subscribe to my channel before you go. I release new videos every Friday. I wish you the very best rest of your day, and I'll see you on the mat again very soon.